For today's video, we're going to be doing a Q&A. Roll that intro. The other day I put a request up on my Instagram story asking people to ask me questions for my next YouTube video. This YouTube video. And you guys didn't disappoint. So I'm just going to go through, not all of them, but I'm going to go through questions today and I'm going to give the best answers I can give to your questions. Let's jump straight into it. Okay, so we're going to start off strong with a question from Mike Bros 1. Mike Bros 1? What was the hardest part of starting out as a freelancer? The hardest part was making the decision. But once the decision was made, everything would kind of, not that it became easy, but it just took a weight off my shoulder and I knew that it was something that I needed to do. I had a relatively regular job. I was working part-time for a company. So yeah, the hardest part had to be coming to the decision and then actually acting on the decision. But once I acted on it, like I said, things didn't become easier, but there was definitely like a more of a clear path ahead for me. Anyway, that's how I felt at the time. Christine OC MUA. The best photography/videography tips someone gave you. No one gave me this tip personally, like they didn't sit me down and say directly to my face this advice. But this is advice that I got from a YouTuber that I've been watching for years now, and it's still stuck with me, and it's done is better than perfect. I know, and maybe it's the same with other people that are in the creative industry or any kind of industry, when you get stuck into something you get caught up in trying to make it perfect, when sometimes done is way better than perfect, because sometimes you can work something too hard and ruin it, when you should just let go and let it be as it is. Maria Everson. Did you turn your passion/hobby into a job? Are you self-taught, or what courses have you taken? Yes, I did turn my passion/hobby into a job, and sometimes people can advise against that, but you have to beware of the balance of trying not to overwhelm yourself with pushing yourself to create stuff if you're not feeling it. If you get to a point where you feel like you're creating stuff for the sake of creating stuff and you're not enjoying the process, that's when things can start to get a bit sour. So whenever I start to feel that way, I take a break, I go on a holiday, I don't do any sort of photography or videography, or step away from it as much as I can, or I only create little bits of things that are personal to me. So yes, I did turn my passion and my hobby into my job, and I love it. It's probably what helps motivate me to work, because it is something that I love and I'm passionate about. But do be wary if someone out there wants to take that step as well. Just make sure to keep that balance. And the second part to that question, are you self-taught or what courses have you taken? I'm primarily self-taught. I've watched tons of YouTube videos. I like to say I got my education from the University of YouTube. I have done small little courses from like Shaw Academy to do with like basics in graphic design, but they're not undergraduate degrees or anything like that. You can do it in maybe 5 days, or you can do it in a day actually if you wanted to. So I would primarily think I'm 80-90% self-taught. I am doing a few courses on Skillshare. If you haven't checked it out, you should. I'll put a link below. It's a fantastic website that provides people with a load of online learning that you can do very quickly and just upskill. With what's going on at the moment, it's a really good website to jump into and try things that you mightn't necessarily have had the time to do before. So yes, I would consider myself self-taught overall. Fee_Malone. Would you like to work in movies? You'd be awesome at film trailers. Thank you. Yes and no. It's such a departure from what I already do, although obviously it's similar in that it's filming and videoing and stuff like that. But when it comes to movies, there's very specific roles for specific things. Whereas with what I do, I'm kind of a jack of all trades. So films, I would love to go on a film set and see how, like, even just a fully fledged TV advert campaign, like a real proper studio one that like you see with proper big sets and cameras and lights and stuff like that. I'd love to see that in person and experience that, and I kind of did a little bit there a few months back, which was really cool. And like, I wouldn't shy away from if somebody approached me, but I do really like to watch trailers. Like, a good example of a fantastic trailer, but the movie was absolutely terrible, at least in my opinion, was Suicide Squad. That trailer was unreal and got me very excited for the movie, but then the movie was a complete letdown. If you don't want to watch the movie, watch the trailer, because it's way better than the movie. I'd like to try it. I've never tried making a trailer, but I would, I think, be more inclined to make trailers than maybe a fully fledged movie. But then I'm still young, so never say never. Lisa_Anglum, how do you stay productive when working from home? I've been working from home for actually around 2 years now, which is crazy that it's been 2 years. How do I stay productive? For me, it's not that it's easy, but it's definitely easier because of what I do and because I love to do it. And as I said or answered in a previous question, this is my passion and I love it. So getting up and getting to do what I love pretty much every day is a big motivator, but by no means am I super productive every day. At the moment, I'm actually not as productive as I think I should be considering everything that's going on, but I am also not being harsh on myself and making myself feel guilty or putting any pressure on myself to create amazing things while everything is going on. How I stay productive overall is I love what I do. Deadlines are a huge motivator. Also, trying to earn money is a huge motivator, especially when it's completely dependent on yourself. Paying bills is a huge motivator. People that are working other jobs, that are working for other people, I would think that would be much harder to motivate yourself to do stuff at home, because it's not for yourself, if that makes sense. It's an obligation, and it mightn't necessarily be something that you love doing. So those factors would make it harder to be productive. But for me, I love what I do. Bills, money, deadlines, obligations, all that jazz definitely help me be productive when I'm working from home. B1s21. Bwans21. What are your ambitions for the next 2 years? What would your dream project be? So the other day I put a little video on my Instagram. If you haven't seen it, I will link it below. Also, follow me on Instagram, where I celebrated Penny Productions being 2 years old, which is crazy. So that's why she's asked me what will the next 2 years be, and they're probably general ones. Get more clients, get bigger clients. One of my ambitions would be to get clients outside of Ireland. So I would love to eventually maybe get some clients in mainland Europe or in America or Canada. They would be one of my goals. I also would like to have my own studio space. I do love the space that I have in my house, in my little home office. But there's this office building that when I was living in the city, I used to walk by it and it was always empty. And I remember one day I stopped and I looked in and I was like, I'm gonna make this my studio someday. Like, it's a huge space and probably way too much room. But a part of me was just, maybe it was like, it was either this space was gonna be my studio or something like it. And it kind of hasn't left my brain. Obviously things are a bit crazy right now, so hopefully everything will pick up after all of this. But those would be my ambitions. Just grow my client base, get clients outside of Ireland, maybe hopefully have a studio space, and just increase my camera equipment and lights and just update and get better. Your second part to that question, what would your dream project be? I am a big fan of the content that the likes of like Adidas and Nike make. I just think their content, their videos are absolutely fantastic. And sometimes they create content that isn't necessarily widely viewed. I see some of the stuff that they put up on their YouTube channels and I just love the style, I love the vibe, the story, the kind of message that they put across. So a dream job would be able to work with a brand like Nike or Adidas, or actually work with them on small projects. Obviously I'm only one person at the moment, so I wouldn't necessarily be doing huge campaigns, but I would love to create something small for them and then maybe eventually get something big. But yeah, they would be that would be a dream project for me, working with them. RDubs3, I believe her name is Rachel. Hi Rachel. When did you realize you loved video and photography? It actually didn't come until a little bit later for me, when I realized I liked videography and photography. A few years ago I did a video on a guy called Casey Neistat, and I can't remember the title of the video. I think it was like why I started vlogging or why I started making videos. I always had a kind of creative streak. I was always in school a lot more sporty and creative rather than academic, and I always found that I was always like middling on things when it came to creative, like art and writing and stuff like that. So not that I think I'm fantastic at videos and photography, but I do feel it's something that is something that I can get really good at. So when I discovered Casey Neistat and vlogs and stuff like that, I started to play around with it, and my brother was a photographer. He gave me his old camera, so I started to play with that, and then I got a cheap little video cam that I borrowed from my dad and started doing these kind of silly vlogs, kind of emulating Casey Neistat's style, which is what a lot of people did when he first came out, and that helped me to learn. And I discovered other YouTube videos or other YouTube creators. They had a certain style, so I would start to emulate that, and then because I was emulating so many different styles, that kind of helped create my own. So it wasn't until, I don't know how many years ago it is now, but I was definitely in my mid-20s before I figured out this is what I wanted to do. So I haven't been into videography and photography all my life, but I have been massively into movies and video games. So maybe that's where it kind of originally stemmed from. There was always that little something there, but it wasn't until I saw Casey Neistat that I was like, I can start doing this. I can create and stuff and edit and all that jazz. Hope that answers your question. Anna Barbados asks, any tips/tricks to new photographers relighting? I panic and end up switching to automatic mode. When it comes to lighting and photography, practice. But when it comes to lighting, always go for natural light when starting off. If there's a big window, shoot near the window. Don't shoot during, I think it's like 12 o'clock until like 3 o'clock. That's when the sun is highest in the sky, and that's when it's at its harshest light. If you find there's no other times during the day that you can photograph, find some shade and shoot in the shade. It's all about picking the right time of day and using what you have at hand. So like I said, if you want to shoot indoors and there's a big window, shoot near the window. If you want to shoot outdoors, shoot really early in the morning during sunrise if you're willing to get up there early, or during sunset. These times are called like golden hour, magic hour, blue hour. But what I would say is just practice. Try not to go to automatic. Don't panic. There's no rush. Just take your time with it. It does take time to kind of start doing these kind of like little calculations in your head, because there's 3 things that you can do to affect the lighting in your photo, and that's aperture, ISO and shutter speed. Try not to use the automatic settings. Get to know your camera. You'll be a much better photographer because of it. So just practice, be patient, and you will get there. Trust me. And when you start doing those like questions in your head, that will also get much quicker with time. You'll just instinctively know what you need to change to get what you want to get. Jacoba asks, top 5 favorite Marvel characters. So my top 5. Number 5 would be Colossus. He's part of the X-Men. He's this guy that has like these metal sheets that go up all over his body and make him invulnerable. I don't know why I've liked him. I've liked him since forever. Whenever he appeared in like the first cartoons, I don't know, I just gravitated towards him. I thought he was really cool. 4th favorite would be Rogue, also someone that's part of the X-Men, but not the movie Rogue. Oh my god, they ruined Rogue in the movies. Don't associate Rogue with her at all. Number 3 is Black Widow. I think she is one of the most badass female characters, or female Marvel characters, superheroes. She has no powers, which makes what she does even more badass. Number 2 is Iron Man, because he's a playboy millionaire philanthropist. And what's not to like about that? Iron Man, he's fantastic. He's really cool. And number 1, it's a tough one, you know, because there's so many. I mean, like Thor is pretty cool, and I guess the Hulk is also pretty cool. Like the Hulk, you could pick him too, I guess. You know, there's Gamora. She's really cool. She could, like, maybe. And then there's Peter Quill, you know, Star-Lord. Black Panther, then, you know, Wakanda forever. Yeah, he has that really cool suit, and he's got that cool accent, you know. War Machine. Iron Man is the second, so you can't really pick War Machine when you've picked picked Iron Man as number 1, but War Machine's pretty cool too. You know, Doctor Strange is really cool. You can do loads of really cool things, like make imaginary universes and make things look all trippy. But you know, now that I think about it, Captain America is really cool, you know? What's that other guy called? Spider-Boy? Spider-Ham? Spider-Pig? Spider-Man, that's his name. He's pretty cool. Yeah, he's probably my favorite. Like, it's a close tie, but I think, yeah, Spider-Man's probably my favorite, you know? It's pretty cool. I like crazy. Anna Barbados asks another question. Fave ice cream. My favourite ice cream is hazelnut ice cream. There's a place here in Ireland, I think they're in Limerick and they're also in Cork, called Gino's. And they have the nicest hazelnut ice cream I've ever tasted. I haven't had any in a long time, but boy is it good. I actually bought myself some hazelnut ice cream yesterday, so I had to tuck into that. Thank you everyone for all of your questions. I hope it was as fun for me as it was for you guys and you got something out of it, especially for the more videography, photography questions that people asked me. But I also loved some of the fun ones and random ones as well. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified when I post new videos. Until the next video guys, I hope you enjoyed it. It's been fun. Check you in the next video. Doodles.